This is really spectacular. So still and clearly a very holy place. Every surface is textured. I've never seen such complex brickwork. I don't know how they did it.
In this episode, I'm delving into the secrets of these magnificent monoliths.
It's incredible. The combination of stones and carved brick is something I've not seen as prominently as this. And combined together, it's a very stunning visual effect.
Jutting from the coastline of central Vietnam, they're the pinnacle of expression for a unique culture that thrived for over 1,600 years.
Interior of the temple. This is the space of the god. During the ceremony, they will paint red color on the face of the god.
I'm uncovering the story of the Champa people, masters of the waves, with links to ancient Taiwan.
This round little tub, and yet it's really stable in the middle. I think the ancient Champa were really onto something.
Contemporaries of the Angkor Empire, their legacy is still being pieced together.
First they built in wood and then gradually they shifted to brick and stone. It's more than 1,800 years.
They built one of Southeast Asia's most influential kingdoms and disappeared, seemingly without a trace.
Fantastic.
I'm in the historic city of Hoi An, an exceptionally well-preserved example of a sea trading port, and a window into Vietnam's rich heritage.
It's my second time in Hoi An, and it has really developed since I was last here 15 years ago. But I love the historical vibe. There's French colonial buildings, Sino-Vietnamese buildings, vestiges of all the people who came here centuries ago.
But over 1,000 years before Hoi An, this city also thrived as a cosmopolitan port of an ancient kingdom. To discover the nation's early roots, I'm going up a sacred landmark.
The Marble Mountains are said to have formed from 5 pieces of a dragon egg that hatched here on the coast. It's a great story to explain how these dramatic limestone hills seemingly rise out of nowhere, soaring upwards from this flat plain.
The mountain today is popular with visitors. And the higher you ascend, the closer you get to the divine. But the dwellings of the gods themselves lie within its natural caverns.
Wow, this is really magnificent. Guan Yin. The Bodhisattva of Compassion is often depicted in a grotto, and this cave, it's a perfect setting.
Further inside are statues of more gods, various bodhisattvas, and the Buddha himself. But I'm interested in a smaller alcove with a clue about an earlier presence.
There's a guardian deity with 2 swords, and I see a lingam inside. It feels like it's been here for a very long time.
This altar is a legacy of the Champa civilization, who were here before the ancestors of the modern Vietnamese. The story of the Champa starts with the legend of a supernatural being born from the clouds and waves. One day, she swept out to sea by floodwaters, transforming into a piece of Agarwood to drift all the way to China, where she marries the imperial prince and bears 2 children. But soon, homesick, she returns to Vietnam's shores, and thereafter turns her pursuing husband and his fleet to stone, to guide the Champa people as their mother goddess born again. The tale partly echoes our understanding of their roots, an ancient seafaring lineage who spoke a group of languages called Austronesian. From the island of Taiwan over 3,000 years ago, they spread their influence across the Asia-Pacific region, including the Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia, before making their way towards Vietnam. By 500 BC, Champa's forebears had arrived at these shores as part of a much larger migration.
The group was one of history's most successful seafarers who ventured far and wide and settled across the Pacific and Indian Oceans from Madagascar to New Zealand, Hawaii, and the Easter Islands.
This feat needed sturdy ships, and there are 3rd century records of giant Southeast Asian vessels over 50 meters in length that might be evidence of the early Champa.
Such huge ships sailing down this coastline, I find that utterly unimaginable.
I'm going to risk a ride on a far smaller Vietnamese icon that some believe might be a hidden Champa legacy.
We're just preparing for fishing. This is an astounding little boat. It's just a round tub, rubber-dub-dub.
Found nowhere else in the region, basket boats have been used by fishermen like Nguyen Sen for generations.
I really can't imagine how this is going to float.
Cái thúng này chèo cũng rất dễ, mà có người là chưa biết bơi để chèo là khó lắm.
It's kind of floating. I was trying not to get my shoes wet. Why am I wearing shoes? Whoa! Here we go.
Traditionally made of bamboo and coconut husks, these compact workstations are used for tasks near the shore, like setting nets.
Yeah.
No, this is actually quite fun. Gravity does the work. This round little tub, and yet it's really stable in the middle. I think the ancient Champa were really onto something.
Soon after the net is in position, it's time to see if we've made a catch.
Tôm lỗ rồi.
Oh, okay. Nothing so far. No luck at all.
Tôi nhìn đó ông ơi.
We pulled in about 1,000 meters of net and nothing. But Mr. Sen tells me that he does this many times way into the night and hopefully gets a good catch. There is no hard archaeological evidence of what types of vessels the Champa used. But basket boats are found here in central Vietnam, exactly where the Champa Kingdom once ruled. I can just picture the ancient Champa people working like this.
The Austronesian-speaking island hoppers who settled in central Vietnam would have lived on the coastline by fishing. Soon, Indian traders, emissaries, and priests began to visit the area, spreading their culture and Hindu faith. Records are limited, but they adopted Sanskrit by the 4th century, and the name Champa itself first appears in an inscription that tells of a great king called Vikrantavarman, who in the mid-7th century rules over much of central Vietnam from his capital, Simhapura. I'm in the outskirts of Hue City with archaeologist Nguyen Phan Quang, heading to the site of a recent discovery.
Peter, chúng ta đang đứng ở lũy phía nam của thành Loi. Và lũy này có chiều dài khoảng là 474 mét. Đây là ở phía trong thành, còn đây là ở phía ngoài thành.
First mentioned in 19th century records, this site holds clues of how the Champa asserted their hold over mainland Vietnam.
This is incredible. This is the actual wall we're standing on.
Chúng ta đang đi trên đỉnh của cái thành phía nam này luôn.
So this whole expanse would have been the citadel. It must have been huge.
Vâng, cái thành này rất tương đối rộng. Và tổng cái chu vi của nó khoảng là 1.700 mét. Và bạn thấy là chúng ta đang đứng ở đây rất là cao, đúng không? Và chúng ta có thể nhìn bao quát ở xung quanh.
Preliminary studies indicate this was a 4th century military base that was used over 3 centuries. And we're heading to one section that can tell us about how it was built.
I mean, this is astonishing. We're in the middle of this wild greenery, and here, these really ancient bricks.
Kỹ thuật này là kỹ thuật xây dựng thành lũy Champa của thời kỳ sớm. Phía trong này là đất đồi, lateritic. Đó là người ta sẽ xây tường gạch, người ta đắp đất ở bên ngoài và đắp đất ở giữa.
This site is awaiting excavation, but we're getting a sneak peek at what lies hidden.
It's a little bit tricky because the soil and the brick are the same color, but when you clear it, you get this amazing original brick. So what do these tell us about Champa civilization at that time?
Và ở đây bạn thấy nhìn trên bề mặt này, có nhiều cái lỗ nhỏ, li ti này, cái này rất nhiều cái lỗ nhỏ thế này. Thì cái này nó để mà tạo cho gạch nó xốp và hút nước. Thì đấy được coi là cái đặc trưng của gạch Champa.
The porous bricks helped disperse moisture to keep this wall standing for centuries.
So they were masters of the ocean, and now they developed this amazing technology to have these fortifications. I mean, that's rather astonishing.
Early Champa forts like these reflect how the kingdom controlled the nation's river valleys to protect their civilization against raiders who were after the unimaginable wealth of the Champa king.
What a treasure in here.
Oh, yeah. Here is the Chau Tan shipwreck, which belonged to the 9th or 10th century.
Historian Duong Long is showing me a collection of 1,200-year-old artifacts that tell us how the Champa controlled a key trading route off their shores.
This is the oldest shipwreck that we recover from the Champa Sea, and one of the oldest shipwreck in Southeast Asia.
These planks look massive.
The ship's length is about 25 to 29 meters.
That's huge.
Yes. Here, you can see many holes in the plank of the ship, right? And they use the rope to connect the ship together. So it's very distinctive technique of the Southeast Asians.
That's really stunning.
Yes.
This shipwreck was only discovered about 20 years ago by fishermen who spotted its enormous cargo of over 100,000 ceramic shards.
More amazing stuff here.
Yes. Most of them originate from China.
I see.
Yes, for example, here you can see very typical ware from northern China.
I see. Beautifully potted. And so thin the glaze, it's very refined.
Yes, this kind of ceramic was also discovered in other shipwrecks in the Tang period. So it's one of the very important evidence to prove
The age of the ship.
Yes, the age of the ship, yes.
By the 10th century, instability in Central Asia's overland routes led to the rise of the maritime Silk Road, bringing commerce and taxes to the Champa Kingdom that saw it thrive.
What was the market for these whitewares?
We found this kind of porcelains in Angkor. So the target market could be
For the kings and
For
the
the king
nobles of
and
the
noble
various
in,
states
yes.
around the region.
correct. This is another piece, and you can see that this kind of the product is for the Islamic markets. Most specifically is for the merchant community.
I see.
The Champa people play a very crucial role in the maritime activity, and we consider as one of the very important contribution of the Champa civilization.
At the time of the Chau Tan shipwreck, the Champa had capitalized on their location. It was part of a network of ports that ferried exotic items, including silk and spices, across the ancient world. But in the mountainous spine of Vietnam, they found a treasure trove of their very own. Champa's contribution to the ancient global luxury trade was Agarwood, long believed to hold spiritual and healing properties.
My first aim is to sit properly. Secondly, to not chop my fingers off.
Để xuống đây. Đây. Này, để ở đây. Để ở đấy. Đó. Rồi, 1-2 lần nữa trước.
So slow and gentle.
Rồi, cho đến cái đen này đây.
Okay. The Agarwood is right in the center, and the aim is to shave off the outer wood so that you get a solid piece of Agarwood. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, it's not too bad. It's quite soft actually. Oops.
Đất tay.
I think she looked worried. Well, maybe this way.
Đúng rồi.
Oh yes. So the Agarwood is coming out here slowly.
Agarwood is no ordinary wood, but one infused by a special resin produced by the rare Aquilaria tree of the Asian tropics.
Nhẹ nhàng. Nè. Mỏng thôi, giọt mỏng.
Okay. I think she's letting me off easy.
Xong con đoạn này thì đã vô xỉa.
Inside Ms. Zong's workshop, the dark interior is slowly revealed. Agarwood is produced by a wounded tree to fight infection, which makes it a rare prize called by many names around the world, including aloes wood, eagle wood, garu wood, oud, and wood of gods.
Oh, look at this.
Đây là sản phẩm cuối cùng.
You get these little thin slivers. It's incredible work. It's a lot of work to get it down to this. How much would this be?
Hàng này 10 triệu. 10 triệu.
For 1 kilo. It's very expensive.
Hàng này là hàng tự nhiên. Hàng tự nhiên là mình tự làm tổn thương cây gió. Mình không có vô thuốc vi sinh. Tự kiến nó bò vô, nó đá trong nước rồi nó tạo thành hàng tự nhiên.
So this is artificially induced and this is naturally occurring. Is there a difference in the scent?
Mùi hàng tự nhiên thì ngọt hơn một tí.
Yeah, the natural one has more intense fragrance for sure.
Theo chị thì ở mình là hàng Việt Nam là chất lượng nhất.
The Agarwood goes into making incense, perfumes, and traditional medicines. And Vietnam is still among the top international producers. The nation's interior proved to be a store of treasures coveted by the world, from precious woods to forest goods like ivory and rhino horn, which the Champa tapped to flourish and grow. By the 9th and 10th centuries, the Champa reached its golden age of trade, and overland links soon bring them to the upper reaches of the mighty Mekong River and the up-and-coming Khmer Kingdom at their new capital of Angkor. Contact with their Western neighbors gave way to the merging of peoples and cultures.
This is such a treat. This is the Jarai community and there are dancers and singers here. Vietnam has 54 ethnic groups and the Jarai are one of 5 that are associated with Champa. I love how you just hear gongs. It's really mesmerizing.
The Jarai people moved upland from the Champa's coastal plains almost 1,000 years ago to intermix with Khmer and Highland communities. But they still hold to many of their ancient beliefs.
Thì từ đời xưa truyền lại, bố mẹ mình cũng dạy lại mình, truyền lại mình thì mình cũng truyền lại mấy anh em, mấy con cháu. Phong tục chúng tôi thì thờ thần núi và thần nước.
So you worship the mountain and the water and this is the best place for it. You have it all around you.
These animistic rituals for protection and blessings are rooted in ancient Champa heritage, as is their language and matrilineal social structure.
Very hypnotic. You just go on like this forever.
Today, the Jarai number about 500,000 members, living across central Vietnam. Their culture is still closely preserved, and of great personal interest to me are their traditional textiles. Local resident Uyen Nye tells me more about this weaving workshop.
Thì theo phong tục của người Jarai, thì người phụ nữ phải biết dệt vải thì mới có thể lấy được chồng. Thì sẽ mất khoảng 15 ngày sẽ xong một cái tấm này.
The backstrap loom wraps around the weaver, a versatility that makes it popular around the world.
Đây là cái sợi lông nhím. Khi mà người dân đi lên rừng á, bắt gặp những cái lông nhím mà nó rụng, người ta sẽ nhặt về và sau đó người ta sẽ để dành.
Ah, I see. So you pick this up from the wild.
And what's most fascinating for me are the patterns.
Về những cái hình ảnh họa tiết truyền thống, đó là những họa tiết về hình học là chủ yếu. Sau những cái thời gian được tiếp cận với những cuộc sống hiện đại, thì hơn 100 năm nay, từ đó nghệ nhân có cái sự sáng tạo và không có tấm nào giống họa tiết của tấm đó.
It looks so traditional, but actually constantly evolving. It's dynamic. It's got so many inventive qualities to it.
And to get a true appreciation,
Wow.
there's only one thing left for me to do.
This is for man or lady?
Cái này của phụ nữ.
Okay, it's a lady's outfit. Anyway, it gives an idea of how it should be worn. Like a sarong, I guess. Very nice.
Cái phần tà này là thể hiện cái sự dịu dàng của người phụ nữ. Đây ạ. Yeah. Và những cái họa tiết ở dưới này là thể hiện cái cá tính, sự mạnh mẽ. Khi người phụ nữ múa xoang á, thì những cái họa tiết này nó sẽ nhảy múa theo. Giới thiệu với anh, và đây là người bố và người con, và ở dưới đây là một cái bức tranh thể hiện cái sự hòa bình.
So this is an interesting historical scene. So you have the helicopters representing the war with the Americans, and around it, what happens after, which is a celebration. Families dancing together. So it's a very important historical moment.
Hai tên con gái của tôi ạ. Ni Mi.
I see.
Ni Mi.
Wow, so it's even personalized. I'd be very proud to wear this.
This Jarai art embodies both tradition and change, reflecting an openness that also saw their ancient forebears make cultural exchanges with the neighboring Khmer. But before long, they would turn into bitter enemies, who the Champa would soon battle for regional supremacy. By the turn of the second millennium, the Champa Kingdom expanded their influence over Vietnam's highlands, as well as their expertise on land, devising a hardy and bountiful strain of Champa rice that became legendary far and wide.
Just pull.
Làm theo cháu.
Ro Cham Hao of the Jarai community is showing me how the former Champa people have sustained themselves for centuries.
Sách cho cơ nó bỏ tốt hơn.
Okay.
Thì bỏ vào khui này.
So we have some wild grass and flowers, which I have to pull out and just leave the young rice shoots here. How old is this rice?
Cây lúa này được 3 tháng, người ta trồng từ tháng 4 ạ. Đến tháng 6 là 3 tháng ạ.
So still quite young.
Yeah. Vô bằng cuốc đấy nhá.
Yeah. Okay, so just...
Đây là lúa
that's
này.
rice.
Yeah, bên đây này.
I think I just killed her rice.
Không có
This
sao
side.
đâu, không có sao đâu.
This is a polyculture of rice, corn, melons, and coffee. In short, tricky terrain for an amateur like me.
Mạnh tay lên.
This is rice?
No,
No?
có.
Whoops. Sorry.
Chưa biết nhiều có không ạ?
The different plants make for better soil and cut the risk of pests and diseases for their main rice harvest.
Do you sell any or is it all just for yourself?
Dạ, chị thu hoạch thì không bán, thì chị thu hoạch để ăn thôi ạ. Vì nó thì thơm và đậm đà.
I felt incredibly privileged to come to this private family field. Subsistence farming is age-old, but it's still going strong here. While many of Southeast Asia's old kingdoms were founded on agriculture, it's interesting to note that this was not the case for the Champa. Even after settling on the continental mainland, their economy relied mostly on the sea for fishing, trade, and not to mention pillaging expeditions.
With ample food and trading riches, between the 7th and 10th centuries, the kingdom reaches its first golden age. I'm visiting the most fabled site of Champa architecture, called Misan Sanctuary. It's a sprawling religious complex built especially for the Champa king. While time has taken a toll on the oldest standing towers from the 8th and 9th centuries, restorations are ongoing. To help me explore their cultural rise is D.S. Danve from the Archaeological Survey of India.
This is the temple complex. We restore first the enclosure wall, then go inside. Original height more than 2 meters, but we cannot restore that because we don't have any evidence of the upper part.
Right. So will you be finishing this up to here?
Yeah, you see this original, that's evident up to here.
I see.
So we were going to restore up to there.
But putting these ruins in good order is a momentous task.
So how would you tackle a kind of messy looking bit like this? How do you neaten it up?
Yes, you see, we put here, first layer. This is the intact layer, you see? And then put one, and then check plumb like this.
You just straighten everything.
Straighten. You see here the mud mortar here. The accumulated the mud. So we remove, clean, and then put back.
I see.
Like this.
Yeah, oh, that sits much better. So it's so meticulous, like a jigsaw.
Yeah, this is jigsaw puzzle.
Where bricks are missing, new ones are made, and everything is pieced together in 2 distinct layers.
Inner core, we put like a brick and then put this mortar like this.
So they used to use brick and mud mortar before?
Yeah.
And now you're adding lime to it?
Lime for the better strength and the life of the mortar.
And finally, for the finish, that reflects how Champa architecture came into its own.
You have to clean like this.
Right.
And then, you see, this is the tree. This is the gum collected from tree and then boiled.
Yes.
After that, they become like this.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a really thick texture. It looks like thick chocolate. So I brush it gently. Oh, yeah.
You can apply side also.
Gently turn it down. That's fine?
Yes, fine. After 1 hour, that will be set.
Already, it's getting stickier by the minute. So why do you use 2 different mortars?
Because the beauty of the Cham construction, the outer mortar is a very thin joint. Water not allow inside and they not damage the structure. For thousands of years, they not collapse. The collapse due to the vegetation growth, war, and abandon the site. But there is no foundation failure, there is no structural failure.
So the original Champa building was very well designed.
Very well designed.
And over 1,000 years, their mastery of brickwork saw them building ever higher. But what I've seen here is missing a key component.
Misan Sanctuary was brought to world attention by colonialists in the 1800s. It was in ruins at the time, and they excavated and removed many of its artifacts, including inscriptions and sculptures. It might also have been called cultural vandalism, but their actions inadvertently helped ensure the artifact's survival. And the French in particular were instrumental in pioneering the study of Champa civilization.
Luckily, many of the artifacts are now stored just 40 kilometers away at the Da Nang Museum of Cham Sculpture. A former curator of the museum, Chan Ki-feng, is showing me the vestiges of the old Champa kings.
This is the lintel depicting the royal court. So the king enjoy the dancing and musician.
Yes, musicians.
The musician, yeah. Then you see the king of the Cham with the umbrella. They sit on the low throne, and he keep a sword.
Yes.
Symbolize his power. And this guy, he keep a pole.
Right.
To keep the record, because Pitanut is the name of one clan of the royal family, the Pitanut clan.
You know what is so amazing? The betel nut, the attendant carrying it with one hand. I mean, I see that also in Malay culture, in Peranakan culture. I mean, this is carried on from that time till now. So this combines the Hindu symbols of royalty, but also something that symbolizes Cham royalty, the betel nut. It's quite a hybrid image of the king.
Yeah.
So would this have been above a temple door or to a palace?
Oh, that is above the temple main door.
I see.
Once inside, royalty would have been greeted with a sacred sight.
This is the pedestal of the Mission E1 temple. And it's one of the most important pieces of Cham sculpture.
It is so intricate. So this is a Hindu pedestal?
Yeah, Hindu pedestal. This interior of the temple is the space of the god. Like reading sacred book.
Yes.
Playing sacred music. And then like meditation under the tree or some kind of the massage.
And massage as well. Amazing.
While Buddhism was also embraced at times, one Hindu deity was revered above all as the cosmic creator, preserver, and destroyer, but with a twist.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, this is one of the most important pieces of Cham sculpture. Shiva, but in form of the Cham king.
I see.
We can see in the eyebrow, the big eye, thick nose, especially the mustache, and thick lip, and a tall body. They will wear the golden piece, like an earring. You see the hole over there in the ear. Necklace, armlets. In beginning of 20th century, the French archaeologists working in Mission, they found a sack of the gold jewelry, about 1.5 kilos. You can imagine it will look more beautiful.
It would look more magnificent with all the jewelry. So we have a very regal and divine figure of Shiva, but yet it is clearly the face of a Champa king. I think, you know, the aspirations at that time, you really wanted to be a god.
That's right, very right.
The Champa didn't have India's strict caste system, but the king and his priests were vital for the Hindu practices that helped to preserve the kingdom.
The way the Champa monarch ruled was quite different from how we might imagine it today. Power was linked to the person of the king himself, rather than to any fixed notion of state or territory. So building temples and statues to Hindu gods was a way to ensure authority among the populace. This is quite a common setup across Southeast Asia. That's called the mandala system, because it was based on spheres of influence that weakened the further away one got from the king.
And here, the central monarchy succeeded in uniting the nation behind them as protector of all Champa. The kingdom's successors also saw them come into conflict with a new enemy to the north, the lifelong inhabitants of the Red River Delta that call themselves the Great Viet people, or the Dai Viet. In the late 10th century, their new king moves against his southern enemy, sending a surprise raid to the court of King Paramesvara Varman in 982. And later, 30,000 troops to build a road into their lands. forcing the Champa to move their center south to the city of Vijaya, Sanskrit for victory. The old capital's ruins in the city of Quinyon reveal a second golden age even more resplendent than the last, that saw the Champa attain their pinnacle of art and engineering. I've been charting the course of Vietnam's ancient Champa Kingdom. And finally, I've come to one of the most celebrated examples of the Cham towers they built.
How truly magnificent. These are the Zeng Lam Towers, also known as the Towers of Ivory. They're just so well positioned next to each other. Clearly, the inspiration is a lotus, and they open higher and higher towards the sky.
These striking pillars are over 800 years old and make up the largest surviving Champa temple of the modern day. The colossal towers are arranged on a north-south axis, with true entrances facing east towards the sunrise.
It's incredible. They really get more breathtaking and imposing the closer you get up to them. Look at these amazing foundations. They are so tall. Most of the ornamental claddings have gone, except for this corner here. There seems to be a Ketimuka, which is sort of a good luck symbol with the serpents coming out of its mouth. And it's sort of protecting a deity in the middle. There are also many classic Hindu symbols like the Naga or snake, the Garuda, kind of a winged beast. There are also these breast symbols which represent fertility, but I've never seen them anywhere else before. They're quite different from the earlier Champa towers we've seen. The very beautiful stone cladding, carved and ornamented, seems to be inspired by Angkor, but yet the combination with the exposed brick, to me, feels really Champa.
These towers represent the apex of the Champa civilization. But their proximity to the ascendant Khmer was also a double-edged sword. In the mid-12th century, they invade Vijaya for Champa's trading wealth. But King Jaya Indravarman IV strikes back in 1177 by sending a fleet of Champa warships up the Mekong River to strike at the Khmer capital, kicking off epic battles still etched into the walls of Angkor. But the struggle for regional supremacy has another player, the Dai Viet, who in the late 14th century are pitted against the new Champa hero, Po Bin Tun, also called Cheponga, or the Red King. He launches a series of devastating attacks into the enemy's heartlands to broaden Champa's hold in northern Vietnam as never before. But the end comes just as swiftly when the great conqueror is slain by the Dai Viet's new hand cannons in 1390, spelling turmoil that almost a century later sees Champa's heartlands overrun. The kingdom's mantle passes to two principalities in the south, who build up ties with the islands of modern Malaysia and Indonesia, leading the kingdom, against all odds, to prosper once again.
The beneficial exchanges the later Champa Kingdom built up with their southern island neighbors gave them new dynamism and influence. But it wasn't enough to hold off the inevitable. The territory of the last Champa ruler, Po Phoc Te of Panduranga, fell in 1832 to the descendants of their old enemy, who went on to call themselves Vietnam.
Just 50 years later, when the French colonized the nation, only about 50,000 direct descendants of the Champa Kingdom were said to remain. But today, the numbers of Cham people have grown threefold. What survives of their distinct heritage?
Còn đây là ảnh của làng tôi, cách đây là 40 năm.
Wow. Local author and national treasure Indra Sara is a collector of all things Cham.
Người Cham mặc như thế này và họ đổi lu nước. Ở đây người Cham sống bằng nghề nông là chính. Và bên cạnh đó là họ cũng có sống bằng nghề dệt thổ cẩm.
Life was really traditional, so different from now.
Đúng rồi.
Indra Sara is the author of 40 published works, and he opened this library in 2010 as a repository for records in Cham script, once the sole purview of an educated class of priests and administrators.
Còn đây là văn bản về lịch sử, về các vị vua sống qua thời đại nào, cũng chép trong này.
So this is 300 years old.
Đúng rồi.
I mean, it's incredible. It's still very readable, the text.
Rồi sau đó, người Cham mới chép trên giấy bản của người Trung Hoa. Rồi đến khi người Pháp tới là giấy xi măng rất là tốt, nên người Cham dùng giấy xi măng để chép sách. Đến khi giải phóng về là người Cham biên soạn sách chữ Cham dạy cho học sinh trong tiểu học. Đấy, và đến ngày nay luôn là chúng tôi đang dùng cuốn sách này để dạy cho các em, các cháu Cham.
This is wonderful. It really shows you how to write the script. So can all young kids now read and write Cham?
Đúng rồi. Bây giờ là chữ Cham đã được là đưa vào máy vi tính rồi. Nên trẻ con phổ cập từ lớp 1 đến lớp 5. Nên họ biết rất là rành chữ Cham.
Still a living language.
Đúng rồi.
I've seen how the Cham today are a recognized minority. But their culture and history still remain largely unknown even in Vietnam. But a new generation is here to disrupt the status quo.
Con người Champa trang phục Champa ngôn ngữ Champa, lời ru đất mẹ vẫn còn ngân nga. Vì thằng Shiva tiếng trống ghi năng đều áp xa ra, tô lên bản sắc dân tộc Champa.
27-year-old TNP is a car mechanic who channels his two passions into his art.
Oh, this is you.
Yeah.
Oh, this is very cool. He's rapping in traditional clothes, but he's got on very cool sneakers as well. I like the combo.
Rap thì bản thân mình từ nhỏ mình đã được may mắn là nghe nhạc rap và mình rất là yêu thích cái dòng nhạc này. Nên là khi mà lớn lên mình viết ra cái câu chuyện của riêng bản thân và cộng đồng mình để truyền bá cho mọi người cùng biết.
And why did you choose this place to rap?
Đó là địa điểm mà em đã lên ý tưởng rất là lâu. Và tại vì cái tháp này là biểu tượng, khi có tháp là người ta sẽ nghĩ đến Champa.
The over 700-year-old Long Jarai temple is named after a southern Champa king who protected his people from war.
Xin thằng Linh, 4 mùa vừa thu, không còn hạn hán, mưa chưa vừa đủ, nông trang canh tác, không gặp mưa lũ, chẳng cần sang dầu, vẫn ngăn cao đầu, đôi chân cứ bước, đi đến đâu thì cũng vẫn tự hào.
Quay đây thì ngay góc đây thì mình sẽ hướng lại về cái hướng tháp. Dạ. Nên là mình sẽ lạy theo phong cách cách lạy của người Cham thì mình sẽ nằm bệt xuống luôn.
I love how you rap, but you are also paying respects.
Mình tự hào mình là người dân tộc Cham, tự hào mình là một trong 54 dân tộc của Việt Nam. Cái ý nghĩa là nó cũng nằm trên cái tựa đề của bài hát, tự hào dân tộc.
Although he raps in Vietnamese to reach more of his modern compatriots, I'm getting some special coaching of Cham verses.
Tha qua lâu, cái nào lại ta, cái ngạo lại cần, cái bằng lại kỳ, cái điều lại lòn, yeah.
Very good, I like that.
Cái nào lại ta,
Cái nào lại ta,
cái ngạo lại cần,
cái nào lại cần,
cái bằng lại kỳ,
cái bằng lại kỳ,
cái điều lại lòn,
cái đi lại klong,
cái non lại ra.
cái non lại ra.
Wow.
Was that right?
Yeah, chính xác.
What does that mean?
Cái nào lại ta là chưa đi mà đã kêu xa, đã kêu là xa rồi, không muốn đi làm cho nản lòng. Đó là câu tục ngữ mà người đời răn dạy là khi mình bắt tay mình làm là mình phải làm cho được chứ không tất cả như không.
I quite like the fact that it was closer to Malay, so it was easier on the tongue than Vietnamese. And I only recognized one word, dua. Dua for two?
Tua, yeah, tua.
But everything else was not familiar. Thank you.
Yeah.
The music of the ancient Champa Kingdom was highly regarded, even by their enemies. Its Indian-influenced style was studied by the early Dai Viet court to enrich traditional Vietnamese arts. And who knows, maybe Cham rap may also go on to shape the wider music scene too. I've charted the rise of Vietnam's magnificent Cham towers and the story of their mysterious makers who were a legendary giant of world history. For over 1,500 years, the Champa Kingdom carved an outsized presence in the ancient world. Marco Polo himself remarked on the richness of their resources, and Christopher Columbus assumed in 1502 he had arrived in the fabled land when he was actually in the Caribbean. While there are only under 200,000 Cham today, that number rises to over 1 million when combined with the 4 other ethnic groups linked to the Champa. I'm really looking forward to seeing what their modern descendants do with their identity and heritage.